We were over at my house watching the game, and I was not happy during the game. Is that fair assessment?
You guys covered. That's a great
First
cover.
off, let me just start off. I am so upset that the Vikings covered today.
You were down by 20 points.
No. The fact that they got away with the cover, given the embarrassment that we just had on national, I guess not national, maybe, I don't know what.
No, it was prime time. It was prime time.
Prime time television. It was just a horrific game from start to finish. Even though they had their chances at the end to not come back and get it close, but to actually win the game. The Vikings just completely struggle on both sides of the ball, really throughout much of the night, but are able to come back and make it look better than it actually was. 34-28 was your final. I want to just start off with this. I'm going to try not to go too off the rails. I'm going to try not to go too off the rails because I'm pretty upset with several things. And Ziggy will back me up on all of these. But to begin, I want to say it's not Kirk Cousins' fault. You're going to see all the memes about Kirk Cousins playing in primetime, and I've already seen some. I've seen a bunch of them already, that he's just not a good primetime player and he can't show up in the big games. And I look and I say, are those people watching the same game as me? Because Kirk Cousins, he actually is the only reason they were in this game tonight. He finished with 364 yards and 4 touchdowns. It wasn't like Kirk Cousins.
70% complete.
It wasn't like Kirk Cousins was an issue tonight. So for anyone who out there who's thinking primetime Kirk strikes again, get that out of your head. It's not an issue with Kirk Cousins. What this comes down to, and we've seen it last year, we've seen it already twice this year, the Vikings offensive line and the Vikings defensive line are massive, massive problems, and they will not address it.
You know what made me mad, Paul?
Yeah.
Usually to get a successful run game, you have to do what's called programming, right? What does that mean? Well, you do some outside runs, you do some inside runs, you do some gap, you do some zone. Like there's lots of different things you do to mix it up. The Eagles ran one play tonight. I guess you can call it two. They ran inside zone into the A gap, and they ran inside zone into the B gap. That was it. That's basically all they ran, and every single time it was a guaranteed 7 or 8 yards.
It was unbelievable. You have Al Michaels saying on television, "I've never seen anything like this." He's been broadcasting for 70 years.
The most hilarious part was right before halftime. After JJ fumbled.
Oh, it's a classic Vikings.
The Eagles have their own 20-yard line. I don't know if they even care to score, and they hand the ball off. 2 straight running plays. They get, 60 yards down the field and kick a 60-yard field goal.
We were in the basement. You were saying they were trying to run the half out. Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit are saying they were trying to run that. I don't think that was the case.
Maybe they knew
they thought that they could manhandle the Vikings defensive line so much that with 25 seconds left in the half, they were running the football, which I've never seen before. I've truly never seen that before from an offense.
This was the type of thing where they're running it down your throat so bad. It reminds me of like when Bama plays Southern Miss.
No, it was disgusting.
It's domination. It's both
what's
lines.
unbelievable about this game is that it was 2 lines. It wasn't like the Vikings just completely got obliterated on defense. It was the offensive line was just as bad. I mean, Ali Udo, I feel bad for him. I hope he recovers. He got launched and injured on a play because he got beat so bad. And I hope he recovers, but we'll start with the offensive line. At the end of last season, you look across the Vikings' interior offensive line because on the outside you have Darisaw and O'Neal, who ranked as 2 of the better tackles in football and one of the better pairs in the game. You looked at the interior offensive line and you saw Ezra Cleveland, Garrett Bradbury, and Ed Ingram. In football last year, there were 3 players, 3 in the entire league, who allowed 50 or more pressures. Ezra Cleveland was tied for second with 53 or 55, and Ed Ingram led the league at 63. Now, you would think, right, Jack, if you look at that interior offensive line, most people would assume that's not very good. Is that fair to assume?
That's totally fair assessment.
Pretty poor interior offensive line. Now, most logical people would say, why don't we address that? We have a bunch of free agents. I said last week, Dalton Reisner is sitting on his ass somewhere begging on Twitter to come to the Vikings. Instead, we roll out the same group of guys thinking it's going to get better. And immediately this season, we have 7 turnovers off the bat, multiple of which are caused by blitzes that Ed Ingram does not see, and Kirk Cousins gets obliterated.
Oh, you want to hear what makes me mad, Paul?
Yeah.
Somebody asked Ed Ingram on Saturday whether he thought that his performance needed improvement. You saw him last week, right? Here was his response. I'm going to read it word for word. Somebody asked whether he felt he made mistakes. Ingram: I feel like I played pretty well. I kind of had some slight mistakes, but other than that, I really liked my performance.
Kirk's hands. He caused a fumble. I saw a great tweet that Ed Ingram, our right guard, has caused more fumbles than Lewis Seen and Andrew Booth, our cornerbacks who were taken in the first draft that Kwesi had. An embarrassment. But here's what I want to say, and I want to make this real. I want to get this out there and just have Viking fans do it. We're going to see press conferences tonight where Kevin O'Connell says, yeah, we got beat physically. We got to fix up some things. Too many turnovers. Kirk Cousins is going to come out and say all the right things like he always does. Justin Jefferson will say, we have to play better. I can't turn the ball over the way I did. No one's going to say what needs to be said. So I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Fix the line. Find a way to fix the line. You can't let Kirk Cousins sit back there and get murdered at 35 years old. It happens time and time and time again. It's embarrassing. You get mauled on national television.
I'll tell you what. I honestly think if they were just to take three, I do, but I'm pissed. Listen, if they were to take 3 undrafted free agents, right, rookies who've never played a snap in the NFL, who came out of college, guys who were like decent starters of their college program, and put them in there, it couldn't be worse.
It couldn't.
I'm not talking like, you talk about Reisner's out there, Andrew Norwell's out there from the Commanders. I'm not talking about those guys. Get 3 random rookies. I don't care who've never played a snap in the NFL. They cannot be worse. I'll tell you how they'll be better. They at least won't come out like Ed Ingram and talk about what a great guard they are when they might not be a top 100 guard in the NFL.
Oh, he's not. You can give credit to Philadelphia because they have a great defensive line. But it was embarrassing. And real quick, a quote. My brother's listening to the chat. He says, a 4-man rush from the cast of the Paul Farrington Show would give the Vikings offensive line a run for their money.
We might.
Sorry, you were trying to say, Jack. You were trying to get a word.
I was going to say it's disappointing for a guy like Kirk Cousins, who it's no mystery when you watch him, he's a good quarterback. Like when he has his time every once in a while.
He looked great.
He looked awesome.
Great.
Almost 400 yards. And you come out of the half, and this is the play that sticks in my mind. You come right out of the half, and the first play of the second half, or second play, he strip sack.
What is he supposed to do?
Yeah, can't do it. Yeah.
What is he? Kirk can't move.
It's unfortunate.
He's immobile. We know that he's immobile.
I watched Ben for years,
and he has poor awareness. Like. But Ben could push people off and get out. Kirk is immobile, and he has pretty poor awareness in the pocket. You could have someone bearing down on him. I'll have no idea. But with that said, it's not like he has 4 seconds and he's sitting back there and it's his fault. He's not picking the right players. When you give Kirk Cousins time, he can diagnose the defense. Kirk Herbstreit wouldn't shut up. He's talking about how smart he is as a veteran, an experienced player who can go and move players in his position like chess pieces. Kirk's a smart, very good quarterback, but you have to give him some time. And it's just mind-boggling to me that this Vikings front office would trot out the same group. There were injuries tonight, yes, but it's really disappointing to see that from management. There were so many other issues besides the line in tonight's game, but that was the one that was glaring to me. What are you supposed to do?